Rise, shine, great day to you. I trust that you're doing well today. D Soul, go ahead and put this out there real quick. The art of being and feeling seen. This is something that I created about 6, 7 years back. Kamari, that's who she is. I was experimenting at the time. This is what I came up with. Like I said, I printed this back in 2019. You know, something that you all never seen before. First time for everything. So, the art of feeling seen and being seen was something that I struggled with for a very long time, and it was never fear of eyeballs looking at me. It was really the lack of faith and trust I had in myself. So what I had to do was, instead of always focusing on what everybody else think and thought of, I had to dial in, which I do daily now. I had to dial in within myself to be present in the moment. That's what I see and think of the art of being and feeling seen. It's a daily battle because of the fact that still put myself in a position where I believe in myself, and knowing that I can basically, and yes, I'm struggling with this because I'm coming off of this. I talk in my head. This ain't scripted or rehearsed. What I'm saying is, in order for me to progress, I have to constantly have more trust and faith in myself, knowing that I can get the job or whatever done. Because more often than not, when I dial into being focused and in tune with myself, I can go do anything without fear of judgment or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, people say that the number one fear in a lot of people sometimes is death is up there. I don't fear death. However, it's really public speaking. And for me, like I said, it's not the fact that eyeballs or everybody's looking at me. It's really just for me to be in tune with myself. Because once I'm in tune with myself, I'm really talking to an audience of one. I'm self-talking to myself. I'm not concerned with the crowd per se, because at the end of the day, I have no control over what you think. I have no control over what you're gonna say, feel, or what you think of what I'm saying. Honest critique, honest feedback is welcome, because that's one of the few ways that I can prosper and grow, of course. However, at the end of the day, I've recognized, like with my work, when I create my visual work, I create it for myself first and foremost. Now, of course, yeah, when it comes to client work, yeah, you also have to make sure you have to deliver great results to the client, of course. However, I dial into myself first is, okay, what do I think of the work I'm putting out there? And if I enjoy it, then it's a very high chance that the client is going to enjoy, or the person that I'm creating art with, they're gonna be grateful and they're gonna enjoy what I create of them, because I recognize that in order for them to be grateful for what I create, I have to see myself in them and know that I'm going to be grateful for I'm going to be grateful in the work as well. Because if I'm not grateful, I'm gonna put that energy out there, and they're not going to be grateful. They're going to be insecure. They're going to have all these feelings because I'm putting that energy on them if I don't believe first that I'm great at what I do. And trust and believe. Yeah, everybody is not going to be into my work. A lot of people is going to be indifferent, and that's okay. What I've recognized over time with dealing with a lot of people is off the strength of the red flags are always there at the jump, and you can pick up on those red flags and pivot towards a client that's going to be more receptive to you, or you can sit there and pick up those red flags and still deal with that client. And trust me, when you deal with that client after they already have doubts and trust, I've been in those situations before where a person has said, Well, I don't know. And I would talk them into it, and still the results still was not good, because of the fact that instead of me recognizing from the jump that this is something they're not really interested in, I just sat there, kept going down that path, and they're not satisfied with the results. So with that, I've recognized, Stewie, be in tune with yourself. Recognize those red flags. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing, because yeah, I'm not for everybody. I'm not the guy for everybody. I'm not the visual artist for everybody. I'm not the photographer for everybody. Nor am I even trying to do that, because it's literally impossible, because as a man, I am subjective. So that means I'm not going to be objectively accepted and appreciated by every single body, and that's okay. And a lot of times it's just off the strength of we just do not align with each other. And I look at the situation as there's a difference between not aligning and rejecting. Not aligning it with someone is recognizing that, okay, this person is showing that they're not really in tune with what I'm doing, so let me pivot another direction. The rejection is when you recognize that you don't align with somebody, and you're gonna still try to force it anyway, which in actuality what you're doing is you're rejecting yourself, because now you're chasing this person's approval as opposed to choosing yourself and knowing that, wait a minute, me and this person, we're not on the same page. We got two totally different ideas, and that's totally okay, because once you begin to recognize how much you value yourself and you value your time, you're gonna know, okay, me and this person, we're not here. So we need to go ahead and just, go our separate ways. And that's okay, because again, I look at myself, especially off of so many of my experiences. I've said over time, when I've matured and recognized it after the fact, I said, Stewie, that's on you. That person had a medium to low interest in it, but you still went through it with it anyway. They're not satisfied, because now instead of knowing that you two don't align, you chase their validation. Now they're not satisfied because you don't believe in yourself, and if you don't believe in yourself, they're not going to believe in you. So most importantly, it's all about recognizing when early from the jump that when you and somebody do not align, or activity that you just ain't feeling, it's okay to just walk away. Don't try to force it, because when you force stuff, it's never going to end well. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to drag this on. You all be great. Enjoy the day.